Yes.
Was it?
We here. We here. The last one. I can't wait.
Yep.
And like this is like the season finale for us. You know.
It's like a Star Show when you go for 10 episodes and shit.
Right.
Yeah,
It's the last
speaking of
episode.
that,
If they're not
yeah,
binge
the
watching,
last
they out
episode
of
was
luck.
crazy.
You said what, Ash?
I said last week's episode was crazy, and I already know this Friday's episode is going to be even more intense.
I know.
Yep.
Hmm.
In the words of the Notorious B.I.G., somebody got to die. If I go, then you go.
Right. Somebody got to be number one. Man.
I'm, I just got into a
Yeah,
new
we
show called. I just got into this new Miss Pat show. This show's funny as fuck.
Yeah, I remember you were telling me that earlier. I never watched it.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be some corny shit, but I'm just like, yo. There was one scene last night that had me rolling, and then I watched like literally the first season all day, all day. I was like, yo, this show's actually kind of funny.
need some
Mm.
get something. You said something. I didn't hear what you said.
I said this show I just got into called the
You
Miss
said
Pat
Reg.
Show.
I didn't hear what you said, bro.
Can you hear me now?
The Manhattan show.
No, the Miss
Yeah.
Pat Show.
I didn't hear what was the show?
The
Miss
Miss
Pat.
Pat
Oh, my
show.
mom watched it. Miss Pat. Yeah. Oh man. Damn. This is gonna be tough. Oh, as long as this is the top 10.
Yep.
We should have did this on Instagram, Reg. What are you doing? How could you put that album at number 10? Meanwhile, they never heard the damn album.
Right.
You know, don't come for me with how could you put this number and y'all ain't hear the damn album? Can't even tell me your favorite track without looking at Wikipedia. Man, it's crazy, yo.
I'm gonna start in about 10 more minutes.
Where
Okay.
Ronnie at? Is Ronnie been kidnapped or something? I haven't seen Ronnie in a minute on here.
Yeah.
Is he alive? Is he dead? Where's he at?
I
I'm
have
so used
no
to
idea.
Ronnie hitting up my DM and sending me videos. Like, where? I don't see him in here. You gotta check up on him, Reg. Where BJ? Yeah.
Sam says Shabba Ranks or Bounty Killer.
Shaba ranks. Shaba. Actually gonna
Yeah,
be
I'm
over here.
about to
I
go
think it's June. They have a
Shabba
big
too.
reggae tour. Yeah. I gotta see him. I gotta see Shaba before he die. I'm I'm gonna get BJ to get on live stream. He playing definitely go live.
I'm gonna get some water right quick.
Alright.
Okay. Yeah, Shabba ranks all day. That's the kid told me. I don't listen to ASAP Rocky, so I wouldn't know what song you did with Shabba. Capleton or Patra? Oh man, I'm gonna go with Capleton. More Patra only released like 2 albums. Bob Marley, the king of reggae. That's what I'm concerned.
Y'all talking about dancehall and reggae? I see.
You actually like Peter Tosh over Bob Marley, right? I thought you just said that.
Who?
No, you. I thought you said you like Peter Tosh over Bob Marley.
I never said that.
No. Oh. I know somebody asked a Bob Marley and Peter Tosh question. You picked the Peter Tosh album over Bob Marley. I forgot what live stream you were doing.
Mm, I know somebody asked me a Tosh question, but it wasn't with Bob Marley.
Bob Marley was in it.
No, Bob
Well,
Marley
Sam got
wasn't
Peter
in it.
Tosh over Bob Marley.
Yeah, I can't put anybody over Bob. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hell no. Not anybody from back in the day or now. There's a reason why his music is timeless, man. Like so many commercials and movies have and shit. They got Bob Marley merchandise. They don't got no Peter Tosh merchandise. Ain't no Peter Tosh mugs and keychains and all that. You know, you can literally wear a Bob Marley outfit. Like that's how legendary this man is. 3 Little Birds, classic record.
Waiting in vain.
See, right? They ain't no Peter Tosh bobblehead anywhere. They have a whole brand for Bob Marley, and he's not even here no more. That's how big he is in like pop culture.
Bob Marley's a cultural figure too.
Yeah, and he is this month, right? That he passed away.
You said what? You said what?
I said the anniversary month for him since he passed away. He died in May,
Yeah, I
right?
believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, where's my list at? Okay, about 2 more minutes. Oh wait, that's why it's not working.
Um,
No, I was just fixing up my mouth. There we go.
okay.
All right, I'm ready to start whenever y'all are.
All right.
All right.
What's up, YouTube? How's everyone doing? It's the boy Reg in the building. Got my homeboy Try with me.
What up?
Got my homegirl Ash with me in the building as well. How you doing?
That's good.
Alrighty, now we are at the final part of the top 100 R&B albums list. It's been a very, very, very great 10 weeks. A lot of dope albums we've been talking about. Thought we do like a top 100. So finally, we're at the top 10. Yes, yeah. So definitely can't wait to show y'all what we got. So yeah, my number 10. This might be a controversial pick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know how a lot of people feel about this artist today, but when it comes to this album, this is like an R&B classic. I feel like it basically changed the
Yes.
game. Is R. Kelly with 12 play?
Oh shit.
Yeah,
That's
this
my
album came out. That's your number 10 too? Wow. All right. So
yo.
this album came this album came out in 1993. This, if you want to be technical, some people might say it's his second overall album because he had that group public announcement with the Born into the 90s, which I personally feel like that's a very good album too. You know what I'm saying? Not I don't know if I would say it's touching this album or not, but I feel like the album kind of gets a little under the radar by a lot of people. 12 Play to me is
Facts.
just an masterpiece. This was known for dope songs like Bump and Grind. It seems like you're ready. No, excuse me. Your body's calling. I love the remix he did with Aaliyah. You know what I'm saying? I think it's called a He and Her remix or some shit like that.
For
Back to
some
the Hood thing.
bunnies.
No, Your body's calling.
Oh. I don't think I heard that one.
Yeah, I heard it a while back ago. If I find it, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But yeah, he also had a cover of the Spinner
Right.
Sadie song. You know what I'm saying? So this is a must-have in your collection. I know everyone says R. Kelly is like the devil. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you know, he still his catalog can't be touched. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
12 plays my number 10.
Nice.
My number 10 is Escape, Coming at You.
Oh wow.
hmm Yeah, they had hits such as Just Kicking It, Understanding, and Love on My Mind, and Tonight. Definitely a great intro to who these ladies are, and I still hear a lot of their songs being played to this day, like Just Kicking It and Understanding. Those are my favorites.
Yeah, young Jermaine Dupri, man. They try shit froze.
Lord King, nobody even definitely all of it. Great production, great songs. And one just a classic album.
Yeah, your shit was breaking up like a motherfucker. Hey, try, can you hear me? Yo, try. Mm. Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, your shit was breaking up. I didn't hear a word you just said.
I didn't hear nothing you said. All it was number 10 is R. Kelly. No play.
Oh, okay, got you, got you. All right. Can y'all hear me? And can y'all hear me well now or what?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. StreamYard bullshit once again. Oh God, I hate this shit. All right. Number nine for me. This is an album that pretty much introduced us to the hip hop soul sound. You know what I'm saying? It's Mary, it's Mary J. Blige with "What's the 411." This album came out in 1992 on Uptown Records. You know what I'm saying? You know, pretty much, she was definitely working with Puff around this time too. She was working with like other people like Devontae Swing, but it was really like Puff that really shaped the sound. You know what I'm saying? He had songs like "Real Love," which that song just blew up everywhere. "You Remind Me," "Sweet Thing." She did a cover of Shaka Khan song, which is crazy too because Shaka Khan, she pretty much said she never liked that cover. You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy as hell. Then you have "What's the Full One," the title track with Grand Puba. Love that song. You know what I'm saying? So this is a very, very, very dope album. It's probably my favorite Mary J. Blige album. Period. Must have in your collection.
My number nine is Ralph Tresvant's self-titled album.
Okay.
Yeah, released in 1990, it had songs like Rated R, Sensitivity, Stone Cold Gentleman, Do What I Gotta Do as hits. And yeah, some things I did not know, like one of the songs on here titled Love Hurts, Babyface, he wrote that song. And another song, Girl I Can't Control It, was written by not only Ralph wrote that song, but Casey from Jodeci wrote it as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I did not know that. But yeah, overall it's a very great album. I know Reg doesn't care too much for Sensitivity, but
Hell no.
but hey, it was a single and one one of Ralph's. best in a lot of people's opinions. But hey, an overall good album.
Try, can you hear us?
All right, number one for me is Janet Jackson. Rhythm, one of her best albums. And you had again the production. I Dream and Terry Lewis was great. You know, the songs Mickey Much. You know, State of the Nation, Escapade. You know, the title track Black Cat. So many great songs on this album. A political, socially conscious album that I think she hit it with this album, man. It's just great. It's timeless. It speaks to now with what the nation is going through, and I love it, man. Find my classic.
You know, it's crazy. My number eight is a Janet Jackson album. But it's fucking Control. Yeah,
Nice.
this is my number eight. I just love this album cover, man. This album cover's
Yeah,
fucking fire.
I love it.
Um, this was the first time she worked with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. You know what I'm saying? Which I just want to say this once and for all. They did not break up with Prince to work with Janet Jackson. They already had a following. Before that, you know, they were working with SOS Band, Alexander O'Neal, Sherelle. So I just want to throw that shit out there. But yeah, this album to me was a very, very, very great album. It made people forget about those horrible first two albums that she had. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Jesus.
yeah, man. This album was known for songs like "What Have You Done for Me Lately." My favorite song on the album, "Let's Wait a While." Funny how time flies. All my Camp Low heads, you know about that song. You know what I'm saying? Control, Nasty. I mean, nine songs of bangers. You know what I'm saying? Like this just redefined Janet. This just redefined Janet. You know what I'm saying? So this is my number eight.
My number eight is Beyonce's "Dangerously in Love."
Oh shit.
hmm Yeah, I mean this album
Okay.
pretty much was a stepping stone for her because I know at this point her and Kelly and Michelle they all took a hiatus from Destiny's Child to do solo projects. I know. Of course, "Crazy in Love" was a huge hit, as well as "Baby Boy," "Me, Myself, and I," "Naughty Girl," and her rendition of "The Closer I Get to You" with Luther Vandross were also hits. I mean, this album was overall a very, very great album. Got got people to see how Beyonce was solo wise, and we all still know that she still does a lot of great work today. And of course, she's on tour currently. So anybody who's going to be seeing her sometime this year, by all means, I know she's going to put on a great performance. So
Yes, yes.
All right. Number eight is my boy from my favorite group all time, New Edition, Bobby Brown. Don't Be Cruel.
mm,
Find my classic. His best album easily. Production by Teddy Riley and Babyface. And he had the heavy hitters on this album. My Prerogative, Don't Be Cruel, Rock with Your Tenderoni. I love it, man. This is all time. One of my favorite R&B albums ever. One of the best R&B solo albums ever. You know, and Bobby was in his prime, like before R. Kelly took over and Usher. It was this man right here, and I've seen him live. I've seen the audition live. Still killing it. Thing on tour now. Still killing it. Five Night Classic, definitely.
Yes, definitely. All right, so this is another album where it's considered an artist's breakthrough. Her earlier albums was kind of experimenting with like gospel and jazz, but once she came out with this one, it pretty much changed the game. Aretha Franklin, I never loved a man the
Mm,
way I love
that's a
you.
great
You know what I'm
album.
saying?
I love that review we did on that.
I love the review too.
That was good.
So you gotta have this one on vinyl shit. You know what I'm saying? It's yes, yes. Um, just let it be known. This is actually her 10th studio album. You know what I'm saying? Her 10th studio album, but it was her first release on Atlantic Records, which that's like her best known record label that she was in. You know what I'm saying? Um, very, very, very great album. Very soulful. This was known for the cover of Otis Redding's "Respect," which she took that song and made it her fucking own. You know what I'm saying? Of course, everyone knows the title track. You know what I'm saying? Um, what else? What else? You have songs like "Dr. Feel Good." I love that record. "Soul Serenade." "Don't Let Me Lose This Dream." This album to me definitely represented Aretha's independence. Because back like in the 50s and 60s, she was doing gospel. And when she was on Columbia Records, they made her want to be like a jazz standard artist. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Hmm.
and it's kind of crazy because most Def sampled that song "One Step Ahead" for the Miss Fat Booty, and that was like a lost song from that Columbia sessions too. So I love that song "Miss Fat Booty."
Wow.
That's my shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is my number seven, Aretha Franklin.
My number seven is Aaliyah's One in a Million.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely one of her best albums. It had hits such as besides the title track, it had If Your Girl Only Knew, 4 Page Letter, the one I gave my heart to, her rendition of Marvin Gaye's Got to Give It Up featuring Slick Rick, and Hot Like Fire. Other songs that are my favorites are A Girl Like You featuring Trish, and her rendition of Choosy Lover from the Isley Brothers, and of course One in a Million, and the one I gave my heart to. Those are the ones I like.
Okay.
Nice. All right. Number seven for me is the beautiful and talented Sade with Love Deluxe. My favorite Sade album from 1992. One of her best albums. The production, really smooth R&B and jazz. It's real melodic. The songs, Kiss of Life and No Ordinary Love. Cherish the Day, one of my favorite Sade songs. Feel No Pain, banging track. Just a phenomenal artist all around, and she takes her time with each album. She doesn't rush anything out there, and I don't think she has a bad album. I think this is like one of the very few artists that we can discuss and say like, yo, every album was fire. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Every album she had, and and I want to say like I really started to get into music like around an album and this album. But really, this album, when I heard this album, I was like, yo, like I got it. I play Charlie like every day. You know what I'm saying? this album I wore to death. But every album was great, and I can't wait for her new stuff whenever that drops. But yeah, Sade Love Deluxe.
Dope album. All right, my number six, pretty much a very, very, very dope album. If I had to pick a favorite disco album from a solo artist, this might be it. You know what I'm saying? I got to go with Michael Jackson, Off the Wall. You know what I'm saying? This album came out in 1979. You know, this album pretty much set Michael working with Quincy Jones, and the rest is history. You know what I'm saying? Um, this is not his first solo album. I hate when people say that fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to pretty much like disbanding those Motown albums. You know what I'm saying? Because if you want to be, if one wants to be technical, and I'm just gonna be real. He was still under the Jackson Five, you know, when it came to this albums, like this one and Thriller. But if you really want to be technical, Bad was his first solo album, you know, away from the Jackson Five. But that's if you want to be on the technical scale. But this is what I consider like his breakthrough album, you know. You know what I'm saying? You can tell like he was definitely still on like the Destiny bag, you know what I'm saying? Which I love that review we did on Destiny recently. I mean, once you hear songs like Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, very, very, very dope rhythm. I love the bass line. You know, Off the Wall, I love that song. It's the Falling in Love was pretty cool. You know, Rock with You, I Can't Help It, very, very, very dope. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with this album. This is music at its finest.
Hmm.
My number six is Usher's Confessions.
Dope album.
Great.
Yeah, it had hits such as Yeah, Burn, Confessions Part 2, My Boo, and Caught Up. I mean, this album was pretty much, majority of the songs were pretty much great in my opinion. And I got the special edition of the album, so of course there are differences in some of the tracks listed. Like I guess there's a more extended versions of Confessions Part One, and and a few other songs such as Red Light, Seduction, and then a remix of Confessions Part Two. But I don't care too much for that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah, but majority of the album I like, so definitely one of Usher's best albums during the early 2000s.
Dope. All right, my what we at number six?
Yeah,
Number six. No, actually, no. Wait, wait. Yeah,
Number
number six.
six
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me is Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder's song "The Key of Life," classic. My favorite Stevie Wonder album. Man, so many bangers on here, but like when you have like joints like Sir Duke and Have a Talk with God, Village Ghetto Land, As one of my favorite Stevie Wonder songs, and you know, this whole album is just phenomenal, man. Like the instrumentation, the songs, the way that Stevie was. Y'all hear me?
You were breaking up
You hear me?
a little
I
bit.
know. A lot of songs that they had like in Michael Jordan commercials and movies and stuff came from this album. Just phenomenal, a phenomenal double album. You know, it was hard to choose which Stevie albums I was gonna put on this list because he had so many, especially like in the 70s and 80s. And Um, I went with I had to put this on the list when we were making this list, and you know, Talking Book and Hotter Than July. But I felt like I could have had like two or three other Stevie albums on this list, but I had to save this for last. This is like my all time favorite Stevie album, and I just think R&B, we don't have R&B like this anymore. Like this album is like a, you know, a main album I could throw on a rainy day, and it fits with that mood. You know what I'm saying? And just a phenomenal album.
Hard, you know what I'm saying? But I don't give a fuck when I think of soul music. This might be one of the first ones that come to my mind. Is Al Green with the Call Me album. You know what I'm saying? This album came out in 1973. You know, fucking classic album. This is pretty much like his magnum opus, in my
Right.
personal opinion. Like him and Willie Mitchell on the production, you can't go wrong with that. This was known for songs like "Call Me," "Come Back Home," um, "Funny How Time Slips Away," which was a Willie Nelson cover. "Here I Am," "Come and Take Me," da 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 da. Come and take. I love that record. "Jesus is Waiting." No, this was just Al Green at his prime, in my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like with this album, to me, he pretty much just made himself a soul legend with this one. Yeah, I'm Still in Love with You was good. I even like Let's Stay Together, but when it comes to Al albums, this one and the Living for You album that also came out the same year, best albums.
Great.
My number five is TLC's Crazy Sexy Cool. Yeah, this was hard. It was either gonna be this one or who on the TLC tip. So even though both of those are my all-time favorites, but
Nice.
the Crazy Sexy Cool. They had singles such as Creep, Digging on You, Red Light Special, Waterfalls. Um, they even did their rendition of Prince's If I Was Your Girlfriend. Um, Other songs that I liked were Kick Your Game, Case of the Fake People, um, Switch, and Something Wicked This Way Comes. Yeah, it had a whole lot of producers from JD to Dallas Austin to Babyface, even Puffy, Chucky Thompson, Organized Noise. Yeah, and one their song "Creep" was my introduction to this group when I was a kid. So
Yes. All right, we at number five.
Number five, buddy.
yep.
Number five is Mary J. Blige, My Life. One of
Mm,
the best sophomore albums ever. R&B albums. I love What's for the 411, and then she topped that with this album, and the production was more. It was more extravagant. The songs were great. She talked a lot about her pain and suffering with dealing with relationships, and I loved it. I don't think she will ever have no classics, but they're not this. Like Share My World, I love. It's not this. Mary, great album. It's not this. No More Drama, great album. It's not this. This like her coming out party. Like it was like, yo, I'm here. I'm a star with this album, and you know, the production was great. Chucky Thompson, rest in peace. He did his thing. Puffy, he did his thing. You know, she didn't have like a bunch of features and all that. Keith Murray's on the one of the interludes, This was great. Definitely. We had songs like "Be Happy" and "Mary Jane," "You Bring Me Joy," "No One Else." So many. The ballads were lush. The hip hop tracks were hip hop, and it's a great balance. This is a great balance of hip hop, soul, and it's easily could have been my number one, but it's in my top five all time because I think it is her best album, and this is great. This is a 5 night classic, 10 night classic, great album by Mary J. Blige.
Mhm. Very great album indeed. Um, my number four. This might take people back a bit more, but I don't give a fuck. This album is dope. It's Sade with a Diamond Life album. You know what I'm saying? This album came out in 1984. Probably not a lot of people were expecting to be in my top 10, but here's the thing. I personally feel like with this album, it definitely was more influential than people give it credit for. If you ask me, like it was pretty much released around the time when like it had British had that sophisticated pop era. You know what I'm saying? Was simply red, soul to soul, but they were like among the first ones during that. And it's like with this album, I kind of felt like it was like an early precursor to like neo soul. If you ask me, I don't know how people
Mhm.
might feel about that, but it's just I just always felt like that, especially considering what else came out from 1984. Like when I think R&B, I just think the flashiness
Right.
of 80s R&B is like a lot of flashy shit. You know what I'm saying? But this one is just pretty much a jazzy, quiet storm album. Known for songs like "Love Your Love Is King," "Hang On to Love." You know what I'm saying? "Why Can't We Live Together?" "Frankie's First Affair," and of course, "Smooth Operator," which that's like a timeless classic song right here. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So this is actually the highest ranked album from a female when it comes to this list. So yeah, Sade, Diamond Life.
My number four is Bobby Brown's "Don't Be Cruel."
Mm.
Right.
Yeah, since Try already mentioned it earlier, there's no point in me repeating pretty much what he just said. The majority of the album.
Oh, all right. Number four for me, the Queen, Whitney Houston.
Mm.
The Queen before Beyonce, before Rihanna, Britney Spears, and whoever else y'all want to name. This is the Queen right here. This is my Queen. And I remember when Greatest Love of All came out, we had a school play and we had to learn the lyrics for that song and sing that song in the school play back in
Oh.
elementary school. That's how big that's how big that song was when it came out. They don't even do that no more, but you had to learn the lyrics for Greatest Love of All. You know what I'm saying? And you had How Will I Know and Hold Me, You Give Good Love, every track on here, Saving All My Love, great album. My favorite Whitney album, still my favorite Whitney album. You know, she's a legend. You know what I'm saying? And with this album, she proved why she's a legend. And in the many great albums that came after that. So this is the one for me right now here. Top four, top five for me. Whitney Houston, self titled.
Yeah, that's a classic album indeed. My number three, this was again one of the first R&B albums with like an artist taking creative control, especially in a label like Motown. It's Marvin Gaye with "What's Going On." This album came out in
Nice.
1971. Yeah, I mean, what more can I say about this album? I feel like this album to me is a testament in time. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it definitely represented a time. The Vietnam War, racism, of course. The early
Mhm.
drug culture when it came to this album. Like Marvin definitely laid the groundwork for like a lot of styles that to emerge after this period. It's cute the fact that Barry Gordy almost did not want to release what's going on. He felt like it wasn't as commercial, but Marvin stood his ground. You know what I'm saying? Must have in your collection. Songs like "Save the Children." I love that song.
Yeah,
"What's Happening, Brother?" Of course, the title track alone. "Flying High in the Friendly Sky." Very dope album. It's not the first conscious soul album. I know a lot of people want to go that route. You know what I'm saying? I even mentioned like the Young Mod story from the Impressions, which that was way earlier in the list and stuff too. So,
yeah.
but this album to me is definitely a testament of time. One of my favorites, and I know this is like a number one in a lot of people's list too. So,
Definitely.
My number three is Johnny Gill's 1990 self-titled.
okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely one of his best albums during that time. Had hits such as Rub You the Right Way, Fair Weather Friend, Wrap My Body Tight, and of course My, which is, I would say, the most identifiable song in his career. I love this album. It had other songs that weren't hits, but I felt that were slept on, like Lady Du Jour, Just Another Lonely Night, and Giving My All to You, and Never Know Love.
So, all right. Number three for me is the GOAT, Michael Jackson with Bad. I got two stories about this album. My grandmother, rest in peace. My grandmother, she went to Jamaica and she took a vacation, and I had some family down there. I had my aunt had a house in Jamaica. She went to Jamaica when this album came out,
Oh
and
wow.
this is around the time when he was doing like the other videos for the songs on here with Moonwalker, and Moonwalker had just came out,
Mm-hmm.
and it came out on VHS. And I was a little kid, and I remember when she called back here from Jamaica to ask me what I wanted because she was like going shopping, and I remember telling her like seeing that hearing that Moonwalker had just came out, and I told her I wanted Moonwalker on VHS, and I wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger Commando because I was like a big Schwarzenegger fan, Terminator, Predator, all that, and she bought like some other stuff back for the family, some toys back as far as and all that, and I loved the Bad album so much, and she bought Moonwalker, and I remember watching Moonwalker and seeing like all the videos for like Speed Demon and Leave Me Alone, and he had like a video for every track on here. Like this was like one of his best albums, and I still don't understand why. Like back in the '80s when this came out, it was a huge album. When we talk about Michael now and the albums, this album totally gets overlooked. Like they go from Thriller and they go like they pass Bad and they go. So they might mention Dangerous or they might mention Invincible. Like I don't even think they mention History. For whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason, over time, this album doesn't get the credit that it used to get, and I think it is a Five My classic. You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying? Like we had tracks like Man in the Mirror. Man in the Mirror was huge when that came out,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and when just the whole video and what he was singing about on that song, he was going, and this is like before we went to war, with in '91 with that whole Desert Storm war and Saddam Hussein, and that was a big record. Leave Me Alone, and he's going at the paparazzi, and they
Mm-hmm.
talking about how weird he was with the elephant bones and the chamber he was allegedly sleeping in and all that. That
Mm-hmm.
was like his answer back to the paparazzi. I love that for it. The title track with the black and white video in the beginning and Prince was supposed to be a part of that and he turned it down. They got Wesley Snipes. They filmed that in New York City. That same subway station my mom used to go to for work every day. I
Oh
remember when they
wow.
filmed it. Classic record. You know what I'm saying? And Every song on here, like when he performed at the Super Bowl, one of the best Super Bowl performances ever. And he did songs off of this album. And somehow people forgot about this album. This is a five my classic. I'm like, how could I not put Bad on this list? Off the Wall was great, and it's only in recent years I want to say that you hear people come out like Charlemagne and say, "Oh, I think Off the Wall is better than Thriller," but Thriller made him a rock star. It wasn't Off the Wall.
No.
You know what I'm saying? The icon that he is right now is because of Thriller. You know what I'm saying? And Bad was like every album this man did was different from the last one. He don't have one album that you could say was, oh, that sound like so and so. You know what I'm saying? Or that sound, you know what I'm saying? Or it remind me, nah. Bad is his own classic, different from Thriller, different from Dangerous, different from, you know, Off the Wall or the Ben album. Any of his albums as a solo artist is different. Every album was different from him. And this to me is definitely a five mic classic. Hands down. I believe this was like the last one he did with Quincy Jones.
Yes.
After this was Dangerous, and then he hooked up with Teddy Riley, and Teddy Riley gave him that New Jack sound. But this is a phenomenal album. Even the album cover, I love the album cover. Like he was rocking the same outfit he was rocking in the video for Bad. A great album. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to personally put this on my list. 'Cause I'm like, yeah, Off the Wall is great. I love Off the Wall. I might have put I could have put Dangerous also. Dangerous to me is a five man classic too. But this one out of all the other albums, his solo albums, it used to get high praise in the 80s when it came out. And over time, people forgot about it. So I'm like, yeah, I gotta put this in the top three. This is the GOAT of all GOATs, Michael Jackson, Bad.
Dope story about that shit. All right. My number two. I know Troy already mentioned this album, so I won't really be too long with it. It's Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life. You know what I'm saying? This album came out in 1976. It's revered as one of his best albums. Actually, like his best album to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Like my I wish, I love that track. Rocket Love, I Am Singing As. You know, this whole track for me is just this whole album for me is just a timeless masterpiece and must have in everyone's collection.
Yeah, for sure.
My number two is Tony Braxton's self-titled.
Classic.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it had hits such as Another Sad Love Song, Breathe Again, 7 Whole Days. That's my favorite. You Mean the World to Me, I Belong to You in How Many Ways, and other songs that I liked were Love Affair and Spending My Time with You. Yeah, this was definitely one of her best albums. I mean, she has a lot of good albums, but
So, yeah.
I would say the first, I want to say the first 4 or 5 to me were her best.
Yeah. Can't go wrong about that, honest.
Hmm.
Number two for me is another GOAT, Prince, Purple Rain. Now this man made me want to play guitar. Like I took guitar lessons because of Purple Rain. Man, like
Wow.
after seeing the video for Let's Go Crazy, when that came out in the 80s, and the way that Prince played the guitar, that made me take guitar lessons Saturday mornings. So I played the guitar because of this man right here. He gets all the credit for that. Yeah, I remember as a kid, like, emulating playing a guitar from this album. There's so many great from 9 songs, so many legendary hits off of this album. When Doves Cry, one of the best ballads ever. I love that scene in the movie where he's like playing the song and at the club, and you got people crying when he's playing it. It was that touching. You know, Baby I'm a Star, underrated joint. Darling Nikki, you know what I'm saying? Let's Go Crazy, like I mentioned. This album is timeless, and I hate when people when they put him and Michael against each other. I don't think that should ever happen. I would have loved to see Michael and Prince work together, but when they have these discussions, and we've been a part of these discussions in the past, where it's Michael versus Prince, who's better? They both great. They both legends. That's why they're in my top three all time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't like to see that when people try to put them against each other. You know what I'm saying? So he's a legend. Michael's a legend. They both in my top three all time. They will always be in my top three all time. Because for me, growing up, it was Michael, it was Prince, it was Madonna. That's my top three all time as far as music. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if you talk sports, and some people got Jordan, some people got LeBron, some people got Steph Curry, whoever. Michael, Prince, Madonna, top three all time. That's how it go. And I couldn't have Madonna in this list because she's not R&B to me. She's more pop, so she didn't make the list. But Michael, Prince, top two all time for me. That classic album. The movie was classic, and I love it.
Yeah, very nice picks by both of you guys. All right. The moment we've been waiting for, number one. Yes, my number one favorite R&B and soul album, Marvin Gaye's "Hear My Dear."
Nice.
This album represents the darker depth when it comes to soul music. You know what I'm saying? He did this pretty much as a throwaway album because Anna Gordy was pretty much wasting his money dry in a divorce after us for a lot of alimony and shit. You know what I'm saying? So he pretty much just did an whole album based on their marriage. When this album came out, it did not do well commercially, and the critic kind of ripped it apart. But I think like once he died, I think like once he died, years after he died, it became more of a classic album. You know what I'm saying? This was known for songs like the title track alone, the magnum opus. When did you stop loving me? When did I stop loving you? Sparrow, Everybody Needs Love. Yes, songs like A Funky Space Reincarnation also came out of this one too. This is really like my favorite Marvin Gaye album, period. I know everybody wants to say what's going on, let's get it on, which those albums were good, but I feel like this one goes under the radar. My favorite R&B album of all time.
Nice.
My number one is Babyface's For the Cool in You.
Great
Ooh,
album.
Mhm. Mhm. It had hits such as the title track, "Never Keeping Secrets," "When Can I See You," and "Our Feelings," and his rendition of "You Are So Beautiful." Other songs that I liked on here were "Lady Lady," "Rock Bottom," "Saturday," "Illusions," and "I'll Always Love You." And the last song, "Well Alright," was featured on the Poetic Justice soundtrack. Yeah, yeah,
Dope.
it was either this one or "Tender Lover." So I chose this one instead.
Well, my number one is no surprise. Is Thriller,
Mm,
the
yes.
best album all time. This is the best album all time. There's no album that's beating this, in my opinion. Of all albums, whether it's rap, whether it's reggae, pop, whatever genre, this is the album that's beating all those other albums to me. This is the only album that I have multiple. Well, not the only album. The only pop album I'm gonna say that has multiple. I have multiple copies of. Only pop R&B album that I have like more than one, like four copies of this. I don't even got four copies of Wu-Tang first album. I got four copies of this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that. This was my introduction to Michael. It wasn't Jackson 5. My introduction to Michael was watching the video for Beat It. That's the first time that I seen a video. The world premiere, when they world premiered back then. The first my first introduction to Michael. which was great to see. The legend in his red leather jacket and penny loafers moonwalking in a story type of video. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And from then on, I was like, yo, like who is this guy? Who is he? Because he clearly is do not dance like everybody else at that time. He don't dress like everybody else at that time. He don't sound like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? I saw him the legendary Pepsi commercial with Alfonso Ribeiro. He burned his scalp. He was rocking the sequin glove, the sequin socks. Nobody was doing what Michael was doing. This man was an alien. You know what I'm saying? He was my introduction to music. When I was 4 years old and I could understand what sound was, it was this album here for me. This was my introduction to albums and to Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? And from then on, it's been like that. When we get on here every weekly and we discuss different albums from different genres and different artists, it all started with this guy for me, with Michael. You know
That's
what I'm
what's up.
saying? And we lost a huge chunk of music when this man passed away in 2009. There's a huge void that will never be filled. You know what I'm saying? And this, I mean, he was already a legend as a kid with the Jackson Five, but he took it to a total different level with when he went solo with each album. And Off the Wall was a great disco album, and with this album, again 9 songs. And to think that they did like what, like 800 songs for this album, him and
Yeah.
Queen, 800 songs, and to pick 9 out of 800, that's like 1 in a million. You know what I'm saying? That's like hitting the lotto. You know what I'm saying? It's like every track on here was legendary. Even Baby Be Mine, which I feel like has always been the underrated track on this album. But when you have Billie Jean, Beat It, Thriller, the title track, that mini movie alone scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. And how ironic is it that many years later I love horror films? I don't know if it's because of Thriller, but yo, when I was 4 or 5 years old, and that Thriller video came out, you could not get me to watch that. I remember when my mom bought that on VHS. You could not get me to even stare at the album cover because it was that scary. You know what I'm saying? And think that he went through 800 fucking songs to pick out the best 9. No artist could do that in this day and age. To come out with a 9-track Thriller album in this era, they could never do that. That's just the genius of him and Quincy. A great tandem together, and they made great albums, and it's just an iconic album, man. I don't like I said, like this is the Illmatic of all Illmatics for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is it for me. It's no other album that's touching this one. This is the one, and still selling. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Michael Jackson, Thriller.
All I can say is this was a very great list that we all did on favorite R&B albums. I've had like a lot of fun doing this over the past couple of weeks. You
This
know
was
what I'm
great.
saying?
Hmm.
I'm actually gonna end off this video right here because I got some things to handle tonight. But tomorrow at midnight, we're gonna do the Black Eyed Peas' first album. I want to say that one's called Bridging the Gap. No, excuse me. Wait, yeah, that's the right one. Hold on. Let me double check. While I'm double checking and stuff like that, make sure you all subscribe, to this channel, subscribe to the Right and Right podcast. You know what I'm saying? All that shit. Behind the Front, excuse me, that's the one we're doing. So
Behind the
yeah, that's
front.
the
Okay.
first Black Eyed Peas album. Really can't wait to talk about that one. So also this Friday at midnight, it's gonna be the breakdown on the Honeymooners show. Really can't wait
Yes.
to talk about that. You know what I'm saying?
Great, a great show that I love. My God, I love it. I can't wait.
All right, I can't wait either. Other than that, I hope everyone has a good night. Thank you so much, Ash. Thank you so much, Try, as usual. Stay and be on the lookout for the next list dropping soon, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Peace.